All right, all right. Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for the session on personal branding. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite sessions to do. This is one of my favorite workshops. I just want to thank Amadi for inviting me today to do this workshop with you all. Real quick, just to introduce myself, my name is Giovanni Negron-Garcia. I am the owner and founder for Go Inspire Others LLC. I've been blessed to be able to travel the country and even present in these virtual spaces today on a topic that is very close to me that I love. And just to know a little bit more about me, I am a motivational speaker slash student success coach. I work in the higher ed space. I'm currently at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania, and I am a graduate assistant earning my master's in student affairs and higher education. Um, and the reason I got into this, just to share a little bit about my story. Um, if you don't know already, my brand is called Go Inspire Others. And the reason I got into personal branding is because I understood the importance of my name and who I am authentically. And some of us always face the challenge of being able to enter spaces and believe if whether or not we deserve to be there because our message could be inconsistent or because we don't believe our brand is strong enough. And I'm here to tell you your brand is strong enough. Your brand is who you are. Your brand is actually your name. And no pun intended, Gio is actually my name and my brand. Just to know a little bit more about me, I'm also an author. I wrote two books, and I believe that those things contributed to my brand as well. And I can talk a little bit about that. Um, but just to get into it a little bit, what we're going to be talking about today is I already did the introduction. I'm going to be defining what personal branding is, why it matters. We're going to do some self discovery work. I'm going to touch upon that today. Um, what is a target audience, crafting your brand identity to fit that target audience. We're going to talk a little bit about online presence. I know not everyone is active on social media, but it's always good to have some type of presence. Content creation for my content creators out there. Building relationships, as we all know, that's important. And then measuring, adjusting, and bringing it all together. So we got a good one here today. So talking about personal branding and what truly got me into it, just to share my story. It's a tough one. It was very tough growing up. Um, I grew up in poverty, grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania. I have a proud Puerto Rican mother and father, but we didn't have the best upbringing. And I believe a time that I got to college is where I was at the most unhealthiest state. I already had my vision in place. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do motivational speaking. I wanted to be in the higher ed space to do student success coaching, but not a lot of people believed I could do that because of my physical state. I had the motivation. I was an inspiration to many, but a lot of people just focused on my physical state, and they labeled me in a way that I started to believe that. And I started to work in ways where I needed the validation of others in order to go forward. And I didn't believe in my brand. I didn't believe in my personal brand and the message that I was trying to reach out to other people. And when I reached this weight of 400 pounds in college, um, it was bad. And the picture you see here, um, this was taken before an unfortunate event. Um, Me and my friend were eating. We haven't seen each other in a while, and I left the dining hall. And every time you leave a building in college, you tend to always put your headphones in and take that awkward walk back to your dorm or wherever you have to go. And when I left this time, my headphones did not connect. And I had to take this awkward walk without my music. And for some reason, someone in the suite style dorm, probably about 5 stories up, decided to open their window and share something with me that changed the trajectory of my life forever and how I viewed myself. They told me to they opened their window and they yelled at me and told me that I should off myself. I should not live because I was big. And my presence of being big bothered them that much, and they had that much hatred in their heart to share this with me. And it really broke my heart. I laughed it off because I couldn't believe someone would say something like that, but it made me take a deeper look into myself. And with that comment alone, it led to emotional eating. It led to a lot of unfortunate events, and it was just a very tough time in my life. And I did not believe in my brand anymore because everybody saw the physical. They didn't understand the emotional and mental work I had to do to get to this point in my life where I'm privileged to say I'm able to travel the country and the world to speak and present on these things that are so critical. And I had a problem with accepting my authentic self. And I learned over time that it's important to accept your authentic self, to be your authentic self, and understand your brand will always be enough. Now, understand the goal here is to not be good enough, but to be good to yourself, and understand that those things that contribute to where I'm at today, where I lost 200 pounds because I decided to get back on track, get surgery to control my eating, and it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work, and understand when you're developing your personal brand, this is not an overnight process. This is a lifelong challenge of work you have to do consistently, and also show other people that you are working consistently, but not in a way that you have to chase the validation of others. Rather, accept yourself and get validation through yourself, which is probably the most important. So that's just a little background on what got me into personal branding. And now I want to talk about what personal branding is. Personal branding is the process of creating an identity for yourself, and it involves developing a consistent look, message, and presence online and offline. And the reason I have to specify both is if you don't already see it already, some people like to be a certain way online, but they're completely different and they tell a completely different story offline. Now, if there's inconsistencies in both, people are not going to believe in your personal brand. They're not going to believe in your message. And that's a problem, especially if you're an entrepreneur or if you're someone who is looking to get into the workforce. If they see inconsistency in both, they're not going to really believe you as a person. And as unfortunate as that sounds, that's just the reality these days, especially with a media heavy society that we live in. But the role that personal branding creates and does play, it creates a person's public identity, including their image and story. It develops a well-defined, consistent look and message online and offline, and it positions you as someone, as an authority figure in your industry. Understand when you're doing this personal branding, you're already doing a ton of research, you're doing a ton of work, and you are fully qualified to lead a presentation or even anything really in that nature that involves where you're working right now, in the field that you're working right now. And why it matters is because, again, you're establishing yourself as a leader, you're building trust, you're building credibility with your potential clients, and clients could be who you want attracted to you, or again, your employer if you're looking into the job market. It increases opportunities for career advancement and personal growth. You are able to achieve your career goals, you boost your career, improve your resume, you make connections, and you network with like-minded professionals. And also you can build a community you can influence, including this amazing community right now. When you become this expert, when you already master your personal brand, you're going to have people who want to follow you because you are someone they can depend on and someone they look up to. Now, when you're doing this self-branding, you're developing your personal brand, there's going to be some self-discovery work you have to do. And I created this list and this checklist that I believe you should check in with yourself every 2 months to do. And that is to check in your strengths, to check on your weaknesses, to check on any opportunities you are pursuing, and to celebrate the opportunities you already had And threats, and what I mean by threats is obstacles you have to face in order to maintain your strengths, in order to work on your weaknesses, and to obtain those opportunities that you want. And the reason you want to do this self-discovery work is that you're cultivating your online presence. You're gonna be creating your own unique value proposition. You're gonna be setting your personal goals, networking effectively, and the list goes on and on. But overall, this is where you're gonna do a bulk of the work. You really have to understand who you are as a person. What is your purpose? What are you trying to achieve? This is where you're going to be developing that consistent look and message. And this is why you have to check in with yourself continuously. I recommend every 2 months because, again, a lot can go on in a month, but in 2 months, you can really discover what are you doing with your strengths. Identify your strengths. That is what you do the best with the least amount of effort. Nobody has to tell you anything. You do it best. That's where you know you're talented. Weaknesses, I would not consider doubt. Weaknesses is an opportunity for you to grow in areas where you're not performing so well. That is where it requires a little bit more effort to do things. It's not your cup of tea, but you still do it. Weaknesses is where you thrive. You have an opportunity to thrive in areas where you may not have experienced before. And with weaknesses, you have to set SMART goals. If you're not familiar with SMART goals, those are specific, measurable, attainable. I forget what the R is. I'm not gonna lie, but you get the gist. SMART goals, setting them are gonna help you address your weaknesses in a timely manner, and they're very specific. So you can set a date. So I'm trying to grow a stronger online presence by December 31st. It helps to achieve that goal. And also you are able to have that honest conversation. You're maybe not so strong on social media, but you want to. And you have the goal to cultivate a strong online presence by December 31st. So think about like that. Opportunities, again, creating those opportunities for yourself. Again, those are things that you want to do and what you need to do in order to achieve that opportunity, or celebrating your opportunities that you already experienced. And then obstacles, again, I love to talk about obstacles because one of the biggest obstacles can be your haters. And understand your haters is not your target demographic. You should not be paying them any attention. And what I like to say about haters in this self-discovery stage is that your haters will do a better job at that than their actual job. And the crazy part is they're going to do it for free. Don't pay them anything, not even your attention. Focus on yourself and focus on who you are trying to portray your message to. Those who are going to feed into it and those who need to hear it and want to be a part of it. So that is the self-discovery stage. It takes some work, and understand it's going to change over time. It doesn't have to be set in stone today. It's going to take a couple months, especially when you check in every 2 months, which is something I highly recommend. And if you decide to check in every year, make sure you're ready to have honest conversations with yourself. So, target audience. The target audience is where you really have to focus in and get specific on who are you trying to portray your personal brand to? Who are your clients? Who is the employer you're trying to reach out? Who are you trying to connect with? And again, your target audience, your message is not built for everyone. And understand not everyone is going to be interested in you. And that's just the reality. It's nothing to feel bad about, and it's nothing to take personal. Understand, and I see this every day, and I see this consistently more than people seem to complain or become discouraged when their own community, their family doesn't support them in the way that they're expecting to. And it's not because they don't want to support you, it's because they're not feeding into your personal brand. Your personal brand is the one that you're trying to attract, the one that you know is going to bring you money and attention at the same time. But as well as you're able to validate yourself. Understand your community and your close community may not be your target demographic, and that's okay. It's nothing to feel bad about. This is why we have to validate ourselves and do that self-work and that self-discovery work. We have to tell ourselves, whoever our target demographic is, it is who feeds into our personal brand, whoever our personal brand attracts to, and it's going to get us opportunity. So I want to make that very clear. It takes some time to develop a target audience, but get specific. Who are you trying to attract? Is it an employer? Is it a specific demographic of people? You have to do that work. And that also does come into self-discovery work, but target audience, again, it takes some time to build it. But as you're building that community get influence, there you go. That's your target audience. And then here we'll talk about crafting your brand identity. And I love doing this. This is something, again, that came over time with me. This is your personal tagline. This is something you're going to be remembered by. I say a life motto, your legacy statement, whatever it may be. This is where you're remembered. Your personal tagline and showcase your value proposition. It is unique benefit solution that provides to your audience. What makes you different from others in the field and industry? What are your core strengths, skills, and passions? That's what we do the self-discovery work. How do you solve your audience's problems or needs? This is the personal tagline. And my personal tagline is go inspire others, because it not only fits my name, because called Geo, if you did not already notice, but as well, it attracts to my audience. I'm trying to inspire others, those who are looking to be inspired. Tomorrow needs you. Well, and what that means, you have to do the work today in order to do the work tomorrow, so that you become who you need for tomorrow, later in the future. And that may attract more of the student population that I love working with. Health is wealth. I am a wellness coach. Actually, I'm working on my my national wellness certifications right now. Health is wealth. Those who are looking to get healthy or develop more better and wellness habits, that message is going to attract to them. Whatever it may be, and whatever gives you attention to your personal brand, that is what your personal tagline is. And it's crazy enough, I had this very unhealthy obsession with Oreos. As Amari knows, I have a very strong obsession with Oreos. But believe it or not, whenever someone eats Oreos, someone thinks of me. I don't know how I feel about that to this day. I'm trying to process these emotions when that. But the crazy thing is with social media, people like to tag me when anything is Oreo related. And the great thing about that is when they think about Oreos, they think about me and they think about the work that I do. They tag me, and now everybody in their network has access to me and my work, but as well as they may be thinking about other opportunities, like speaking opportunities, for me to come in and speak to their students or even professionals that are emerging. The crazy thing is I have been booked because people are eating Oreos and they think about me. And it's the craziest thing ever, but it works. And the fact is, I don't have an Oreo sponsorship. They are not paying me to do this, and I wish they were. They're missing a huge opportunity, but again, I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you that your personal talent does matter. So you have to do some work on that. Think about your legacy. Think about what you want to be remembered for and how you can be remembered. And it's not that hard. I believe it just takes a little bit of time and thinking. Making sure I'm doing good on time. This is not a long presentation. I just like to give you all the tips and make sure I'm also mindful of all your time, because I know some of you are probably going to be watching this a little bit later. Here we're talking about online presence. Now, again, this is for some of you who are relatively active on social media. Some of you may not have a social media presence. And here's a fun fact. Especially for those who are entering the job market or who are in the job market, you need some type of online presence. For some reason, hiring managers and hiring recruiters, they find it weird that someone doesn't have a social media. It's crazy to hear, but some people are not hired because they don't have an online presence, because they can't detect anything. And it's the weirdest thing ever. I don't think it's fair, but it's the truth. This was said to me in my last job when I was working at a college as an associate director. I found this out, and it was the weirdest thing hearing it. But again, that's all up to you. If you'd rather stay off social media, or you just rather just have a page up where you can post your work, even better. Even if you're just on LinkedIn. With this slide, I love to talk about online presence and just the don'ts. Don't complain about your job or your coworkers, or don't even complain about your clients. Don't be posting when you're supposed to be working, especially if, but if you're a social media manager, you really don't have a choice. So I'm just want to specify that Don't make fun of your boss or team. Don't make fun of a job offer, college acceptance. And again, this goes towards those who are going for the master's or for your bachelor's degree. And the reason I share these first 4 points is because I have very special friends. They got a great job offer. At least what I believe is they didn't like it, and they think it was against their talents and the time that it takes. And let me tell you, they were in this 4-month job interview process, and they believe that their social media was private. They went on this very long rant against the company and their values and that the job offer and this and that. Their first day was their last day. And it's crazy to say that, but the reality is your social media, your online presence is not private. People can't see it, and you don't know the personal vendettas people may have against you that you don't know. Again, that's not in your control. What someone shares about you outside of your space, that is on them. Understand that what you can control here is your emotions. And if you have a trusted friend group, if you have someone you can talk to, a mentor, share those things with them because you know that they're not going to use it against you. So that's just something I wanted to say about that. Be wary of political leanings in your social media page. Again, you're free to post whatever you want. But again, it may cost you a potential gig. It may cost you a potential job. But again, that is up to your discretion. These are just recommendations, y'all. This is not something you have to do. You must do. This is something I recommend. Don't assume that your social media pages are clean and professional. Most likely they're not. But again, social media is a free landscape. I wouldn't judge someone based on it, depending what they're posting and depending what my views are. But again, never lie on social media. This is why we have to develop a consistent look throughout the spectrum, especially on LinkedIn. Again, a lot of people are on there, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're looking for a job. Don't lie on social media. And don't erase everything because you saw this and you panicked and you need to get rid of everything. You need to go completely off the grid. I don't recommend that, okay? It's okay. People already saw it. And if they're not holding it against you now, it is most likely okay. Most people don't take it that serious. And if they do take it serious, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you, okay? I just want to make that very clear, and that's a full disclaimer. So Mario, where are we with time right now?
Yeah, I think we can do at least 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes? All right, I'm just wrapping up then. When it comes to content creation, again, this is for my content creators out there. This is, if this doesn't apply to you, it's always good to take it in. When it comes to content creation, you should always be providing value. I call it the APV method. Okay, always provide value, especially to those who follow you. Who, if you are an expert in your field, provide nuggets of information. Provide something that someone can take away from your social media, and your content. Because here's the reality. And for those of you who understand algorithms, great. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. There is people out there who fully believe that they have to post 5 times a day. That is too much. I barely want to post 1 time a day. The goal here is that you have to engage with other people's content and they have to engage with yours. So it triggers the algorithm and that they're consistently looking at your content. This is why target audience is important, because if you provide value and they see you as an expert and they are continuously liking, commenting, whatever it may be on that platform, that's how you get followers. That is how you get attention. And you only need the attention of your target audience. It doesn't need to get everywhere. You don't need 100 likes. You don't need 100 shares. It's great, but how many people are truthfully looking at? How many impressions are you truly getting? And just in public speaking terms, let's just say you have a room of 100 people and you do your presentation. Only 3 people in that room is going to take what you said and they're going to actually do something with it. The other 97 are probably going to do nothing with it. And it's the reality. It's hard to say it, but it's the reality. So when you build your content, just think about these things. Don't get discouraged if you only get 5 likes on a post or no likes. If you get little to no views. The important part is that you impact at least 1. into at least one, and they can lead you. It's about getting leads. It's about getting clients. It's about someone bringing you in for that interview. Do not take social media personal. Do not make it your life, especially if you are not a content creator. You can learn. I am not a social media guru. There's a lot of people who do that. So if you want a social media guru, I highly recommend you reach out to them. But at least this is where I found success. And as well, don't feel like you're obligated to post 5 times a day. I know people who post once every month and they do well. All right. It's about posting and creating content that people are going to follow. And as well as, there's other ways to create content, especially those email lists, creating blog lists. There's so many ways you can create content. I see there's a chat going on. Okay.
Yeah, just we're gonna have a Q&A, like kind of like before the call officially ends. So just wanted to point that out.
All right. I just want to be mindful of time again. Building relationships. I think all of you know the power of networking. Connect with whoever, especially those beyond your field, beyond your expertise, because you never know. You're going to need a tax accountant. You're going to need a photographer. You're going to need a web development designer. You name it, you're going to need it. And the reason you want to build relationships so you can keep your posts on the job market. You can connect with other like-minded individuals. You're developing, improving your skill set. You're developing long-lasting personal relationship. You name it. The power of networking, as cliche as it sounds, your network is your network. All right. Connect with people. Be nice to people. Right. There's people out there. It's not the pandemic anymore. You can connect. I hope you don't get sick. I really hope, please. And it's about connecting with the people that will bring you forward and have no vendettas against you. There's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of mentors out there who want to lead and want nothing but to serve you. So just make that very clear. Building relationships is important. Please do it. Don't think anybody. You have to connect with people. You have to get out there. And that's why personal branding matters, because you already did all the work. And if someone doesn't appreciate that work, that's on them. You have to prove to yourself, and you have to continue doing what you need to do. And I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. So when you bring that all together, you're gonna figure out who you are. You're gonna determine what you want to be known for. You define your audience. You've already done the research, your desired field, and follow the experts. Ask for informational interviews for things you don't know. It's okay to ask. It's okay to admit that you don't know certain things. Embrace your networking, ask recommendations, and grow your online presence. That's what happens when you measure and adjust and bring everything together. Again, this is not an overnight process. This is going to take work. Do not put a timeline on things, all right? Only for your SMART goals you're trying to achieve in a specific amount of time. And I just want to say thank you. Here is my personal information. If you ever just want to contact me, have a conversation, have a virtual chat. I love to connect with people. I am only 25, all right? I'm looking for a job right now. I have higher ed, so this is just things I love to do. I just want to say thank you so much. If you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram. I'd love to chat it up with you. But if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. I don't know if I should stop recording.
No. I think this is a good time to keep
All right.
recording because I think both Shawnee and myself, and even though there were other people that registered that couldn't make it, we are gonna send this link to them, so everybody's gonna be able to see it and kind of like connect with you and get all of this information. So that being said, Shani, do you have a question yourself? I know I have a question, maybe more than one. So Shani, please go ahead if you have a question or something you want to point out.
Thank you, Amari. And thank you, Gio, for your time. I really appreciate everything that you shared. So I am in my second career, this being podcasting. My brand presently is the Inner Me. And from the brand, I have a podcast, which is called Hidden Parts, the podcast. So everything that you spoke about will really, really help me. I'm older. I appreciate your youth. I'm double plus some your age, but I am very thankful for you taking the time and sharing all of the information. So on one of your slides, you mentioned about writing articles. Can
Yes.
you speak more in depth about the types of articles and what avenues or periodicals or things of that nature that I could write articles in, and how I could go about doing that?
That's a wonderful question. So when it comes to blogs, what types of blogs I usually do is ones that offer recommendations, like everyday blogs, like someone can read. And so something, since I am pretty active in the higher education community, I usually write blogs on 10 tips on how to collaborate with faculty, or 10 tips on how to promote student success. Um, things that really offer value and someone can read, but keeping the blog short and straight to the point. Someone really just likes to read something that takes about 1 to 2 minutes, something they can review, and making sure you do reference other people, especially the work. You don't want to base things off of assumptions on your personal, what you experience personally, because not everybody might agree. I think it's good to base it off of reference or someone's work, and then adding your personal views into it. So blogs like that are relatively successful. Again, someone's going to relate to it, someone's going to add on to it, and even adding questions. How do you feel about it? And then they can reach out to you, adding your email. And then the avenues I love to use, I have a GoDaddy domain, and it just has a blog feature, so I can just add blogs straight on my website, and then you're able to share it on LinkedIn, and I think sometimes, and you can create a link on Instagram. So, those are avenues I recommend. I hope that answers your question.
You did. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have a Yorkshire Terrier who thinks he's a big pit bull or something. Every time someone comes down the street or my driveway, he goes crazy. I apologize. Thank
No,
you.
you're
That's
perfect.
I know I had a question in regards to the legacy statement.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess, what process do you take in regards to building that legacy statement? Like what steps would you recommend someone to take if they wanted
Yeah.
to write something down but they don't know where to start?
I always recommend doing the self-discovery work. Understand what you are trying to accomplish, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're passionate about it. And I feel it all comes down to it, really figuring out why. I think that legacy statement, you're going to live in it. It's not for something you're going to be remembered by. It's what you're going to be remembered for now, and what you want to be remembered for. I want to be remembered as the person who inspired others. I want to be remembered as the person who built the leaders of tomorrow. I want to be the person known as the person who helps others look at their holistic wellness and really build on certain areas that they're lacking in, so they can build balance in their life. Um, Understand your why, and it really will build everything else in terms of legacy. Some people want to do it for the community. Some people want to be remembered, for certain things. But don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. I say that. Don't dig too deep or to make it generic. Make it true to
Mhm,
yourself,
mhm.
and honestly, let it build out. Let it write out. Write out ideas and understand it may change.
Yeah,
But produce something that's true to you and that you know for a fact is unique and will have you stand out.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's honestly always a pleasure to collaborate with you. I'm excited to share this with our community. And I think this was such a great presentation and really on point. So, thank you again for taking the time, and I look forward to more opportunities to collaborate with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you
It's
again.
a pleasure.
And if I could just steal one more minute,
Yes.
monetizing with your experience, can you just give me just a few tidbits on that? I haven't developed a following yet. I'm
Mhm.
very like probably 200 people, but monetize.
Right. I believe every platform is different when it comes to monetization, and I know that usually comes with certain policies and meeting ad requirements. I haven't dig too deep into that. I think the best recommendation is to work with those who do monetize their social media. In terms of monetization and depending what field you're in, um, you turn those opportunities, I think, through sponsorships. Those who I think having a podcast, reaching out to local businesses that you use, and say, hey, would you like to sponsor an episode? And making sure to highlight them. And depending what the success is, and they're seeing business, they may want to sponsor another episode. And it also gets people involved. I ask them what topic, give people an opportunity to get involved with your brand. 'Cause it's fun, and you're building a community that way too. Um, and also, I think for me as a public speaker, my money usually comes through the gigs that I book. So I hope that answers your question. I think that's more an effective way. But if you're looking more for content related monetization, can't even speak today. If you're trying to make money through your content, I would highly recommend try connecting with other social media gurus or podcasters and see how they do it. It's always good to just ask and see who's successful in that area.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And thank you, Amari, for your message. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, so and I can contribute a little bit to that conversation. When it comes to monetization, the first thing is, how can you showcase the value and the pain that you're trying to solve for your customers or the people that are going to be listening to you. So for example, when you have your listeners on the podcast, one of the things that I recommend is always having call to actions, whether it's at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the podcast, to book a consultation with you, for them to reach out, for you to have a conversation with them, and for them to get to know you better, and for you to get to know them better. But at the end of the day, what pain are you trying to solve for your listeners, for your followers? Because a lot of times we create content that doesn't really address the pain that we're trying to solve. And I think one of the things with Geo, like Geo is building leaders of the future. And when you're building leaders of the future, is because you're trying to solve the problems of today. And by doing that, over time, he's able to empower other people that are going to really build, organizations and things that are going to help society. So all of that to say, focus on the problem or the pain that you're solving, and then you position yourself as the solution to that pain, because then that's how people are going to reach out. So instead of creating content, as you was saying, for everyone, you're creating content specifically for the people that are dealing with the pain that they're suffering, and obviously showcasing your expertise in that capacity. So again, I'm happy to have a more in-depth conversation, because this is what I do for my day-to-day, is helping business owners in different capacities find out how they can position the pain that they're solving, and then obviously get customers from that. So but yeah, great presentation. I know we'll have more opportunities to collaborate. We have collaborated in the past. Shawnee, thank you for being here. It's honestly great to have somebody else that can follow through with conversation and ask questions as well. So yeah, it was a great call. Thank you so much, Giovanni.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. See you all.
See you all. Bye.
Bye.